Hello everyone, in this lecture we are going to understand IFRS 18 in a simple and practical way, especially from an ACCA exam perspective. IFRS 18 is title presentation and disclosure in financial statements and it replaces IAS 1. The main reason IAS 1 was replaced is that companies had too much flexibility in how they presented profits, particularly operating profit, which made comparison difficult. IFRS 18 solves this problem by introducing a standardized structure. The standard is effective for annual periods beginning on or after 1 January 2027 and early adoption is permitted. In exams, unless stated otherwise, you should assume IFRS 18 applies. Scope and objective of IFRS 18. Now let's look at the scope and objective. IFRS 18 applies to all entities that prepare financial statement under IFRS. Its objective is to improve comparability and transparency in the statement of profit or loss. A very important point to remember is that IFRS 18 does not change recognition or measurement. There is no impact on journal entries, only presentation and disclosure change. Key changes introduced by IFRS 18. IFRS 18 introduces several key changes. Income and expenses must now be classified into defined categories and operating profit become a mandatory subtotal. There is also a clear distinction between operating, investing and financing activities. In addition, IFRS 18 introduces new rules for management performance measures which improves transparency. IFRS 18 categories. Under IFRS 18, all income and expenses must fall into one of five categories: operating, investing, financing, income tax, and discontinued operation. From an exam point of view, the most important classifications are operating, investing, and financing. Let's start with the operating category. Operating activities represent the core business activities of the entity. This includes revenue from customers, cost of goods sold, and operating expenses such as salaries and depreciation. For example, if a company has sales of 1 lakh and cost of goods sold of 60,000, the operating profit is 40,000. In a retail business, customer sales and staff salaries are operating items because they arise from normal operation. Investing category. Next is the investing category. Investing activities are not part of day-to-day operation. These include gains or losses from selling non-current assets and return from investment. For example, if a manufacturing company sells machinery for 50,000 when its carrying amount is 40,000, the gain of 10,000 is classified as investing income. This helps users distinguish sustainable operating performance from one-off item. Financing category. Now let's look at the financing category. Financing activities show how the business is funded. This includes interest expense on loans and borrowings. For example, interest of 8,000 paid on a bank loan is classified as financing expense for the non-financial entities. A key exam point is that banks are treated differently because lending and borrowing are part of their core operation. Mandatory subtotals under IFRS 18. One of the most important changes under IFRS 18 is the introduction of mandatory subtotals. Operating profit must now be presented by all entities. Significantly improves consistency and comparability between companies. Management performance measure. Another important concept introduced by IFRS 18 is management performance measures or MPMs. These are measures used internally by management such as EBITDA or adjusted profit. IFRS 18 allows these measures to be disclosed, but they must be clearly defined and reconciled to IFRS figures so that users are not misled. Let's look at a simple profit or loss example under IFRS 18. We start with the revenue of 2 lakh and deduct cost of goods sold of 120,000 to arrive at operating profit of 80,000. Financing cost of 5,000 are then deducted to calculate profit before tax of 75,000. This clear structure is exactly what IFRS 18 requires. Accounting treatment under IFRS 18. Now, this is very important to avoid confusion. IFRS 18 does not change accounting treatment, recognition, measurement, and journal entries remain exactly the same. For example, depreciation is still recorded in the same way. The only difference is where it is presented in the statement of profit or loss. So, to conclude, IFRS 18 improves clarity, transparency, and comparability in financial reporting. From an ACC exam perspective, classification is the key area to focus on. Always remember that IFRS 18 does not affect journal entries. Once you understand the categories and the mandatory operating profit, IFRS 18 become a straightforward and high scoring topic. I hope you understand the IFRS 18 clearly. Thank you for watching. Allah Hafiz.